At this very moment, it is Halloween, so happy Halloween, everyone. My name is Mike Matthews, and I am the host of the longest-running self-produced daily podcast in the world, as far as I can see. It is called Mike's Daily Podcast. I'm Mike Matthews, and we are going to now go into the very spooky and haunted, but full of fascinating information and fascinating fun facts that you and I will walk through and maybe have a little bit of a pumpkin latte. Does that appeal to anyone? Anyone? Bueller? All right, here we go. Let me open up the door for you to Café Anyway. Café Anyway. Welcome to Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, this is coming out on Halloween, so some of you might be in the midst of trying to unload tons of candy. Mike's Daily Podcast. Or maybe there are kids that are knocking on your door and you can't stop to listen to the podcast. So I implore you to take a moment for yourself, and then for sure this holiday will be over and you can get on to other things like filling out that ballot and getting it down to the ballot poll thing and just pausing it. And then you'll be done and all will be happy. Mike's Daily Podcast. Except for if your candidate loses, then you might not be so happy. Oh, that could happen. It's a 50-50 chance. So, Mike's, unless you're voting for Daily the plethora of other people, podcast. Jill Stein, for example, you can still vote for Robert F. Kennedy. So there's other choices. You can write someone in, I think. Well, that's all scary. And as that thing is that we play all the time from Paul Lynde saying, hey, there's a really scary holiday coming up. And the joke was Election Day, even though it was he was doing this on a Halloween special. They used to do these variety show specials all the time. And we lost Terry Garr this week. She apparently showed up on a lot of those variety shows. One of them was Cher. She had her own show. She had the Sonny and Cher show, which I remember very well as a kid. And seeing back when Chaz was Chastity, she was on there, and we were like the same age. Oh my gosh! Now, not only were we the same, we are the same age. We're the same gender. So here's the thing with what I've found: Terry Garr sang with Cher on a couple of the shows, and did a pretty good job, I thought. Terry Garr was very talented. She, in all the news coverage that I heard about her, nobody mentioned the fact that she was Lisa Kudrow's mom. Yes, Phoebe's mom on Friends. And it was a perfect casting of that because they're very similar, in my opinion anyway. They had the same kind of quirkiness.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the podcast picture is not of Lisa Kudrow or the late Terry Garr, but it is of a very cool house down the street from me that's got some cool Halloween decorations going on. And since this is the last day I can post Halloween holiday type Halloween pictures for that holiday, I'll get to holiday decorations, in a little bit. But the Halloween decorations there is the last day I can do it. In my mind, anyway. But you can see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. The late, great Basil the Boxer and I used to walk past this street. And in fact, this street has gotten very, very, very popular for Halloween. So popular, in fact, we talked to someone on the street that lives on that street today. That was actually walking around on the street. But they live on the street. They are not someone that lives on the street, to clarify. But this person who lives in a house on that street said to me, yeah, some of the neighbors are, it got a little crazy last year. There were like over 1,000 kids. It was nuts. So this year we're scaling back on the Halloween decorations. We're toning it down a bit. We'll see what happens. And speaking of the Halloween theme, we've got a bunch of Halloween decorations up. That weird fake cobweb stuff is up. Oh wait, maybe those are real cobwebs. I'd hate to see the spider that made those. But that wasn't really a joke. But I guess you can make anything a joke just by going at the end of it. But that's called a rim shot. That's where that is because of
This is interesting.
Wow, this is interesting.
Because of the rim around the drum snare, and you hit that and do a sound. That is interesting, isn't it? Okay. So yes, if you do go to my Facebook page, there's a link at mikesdailypodcast.com. I got a video of me doing this podcast because that seems to be all the rage these days. And I mark my words, that is going to go away at some point. And we'll be back to the radio days when we used to, because podcasting started out as like little radio shows where people didn't care what they looked like. They just recorded it. And much of radio, of my existence in the world of radio, there were no cameras. But suddenly cameras came along and they got easier.
Oh, Mike, you're such a creative soul.
They became much cheaper, the cameras. No, I'm not the creative soul that made cameras cheaper. But now everybody has a camera, at least 5 of them. 5 cameras on them at all times. What does that mean? I'm not sure. But I know there's at least 2 cameras in the phone. The front and the back. It's okay, whatever, loosely defined. So the scary thing is what's going on in Germany right now. Germany narrowly escaped a recession in the 3rd quarter, the one that we just got through, offering some relief to Europe's biggest economy as its fortunes falter. Gross domestic product rose 0.2%, according to the folks at CNN.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that channel. This was in the period between July to September, driven by an increase in government and household spending, followed by a 0.3% contraction in the 3 months prior. So Germany's economy shrank last year for the first time since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The outlook isn't much brighter. The International Monetary Fund sees 0 economic growth this year for Germany, marking the weakest performance among major economies. And a sharp drop in profit at Volkswagen, the people's car. Volkswagen only intensified the bad news on economic growth. Right. The troubles facing the German economy are captured by the crisis at the country's largest manufacturer, which could close factories in its home country for the first time in its 87-year history and cut thousands of jobs. The Volkswagen said Wednesday that operating profit for the 9 months to the end of September fell 21% from the previous year. Yikes. I got relatives over there. I don't want to see that happen. Meanwhile, Tesla's doing well. And other car news. Their shares jumped on Elon Musk's prediction of 20% vehicle growth as we go outside of Café Anyway. Where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in podCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Oh, it's even spookier out here. What with all the zombies walking around. They're really quiet zombies. The quietest. Tesla reported earnings that topped their quiet zombies. This is the thing. This is... Because usually they do the... thing. Is all I'm saying. That's why I thought it was unique. Tesla reported earnings that topped analyst estimates, even as revenue came in just shy of expectations.
Pretty interesting.
It is pretty interesting. Just shy of expectations. Revenue increased 8%. Net income rose to $2.17 billion. Let's see there. In automotive regulatory credit, where other automakers are required to obtain each year, let's see. They have $739 million in automotive regulatory credit. I don't know if they have chowda, but automotive revenue increased 2%, but it's about flat since late 2022, if you go back that far. Energy generation and storage revenue soared 52%. And CEO Elon Musk said his best guess is that vehicle growth will reach 20 to 30% next year due to lower cost vehicles. And you know the Cybertruck did well. It became the third selling electric vehicle in the U.S. behind only the Model 3 and the Model Y.
And the Oscar goes to
Mike Matthews for reading all of that fascinating financial information to you on this scary holiday. Thank you. I accept this award with a big smile on my face. 16,000 Cybertrucks were sold in the third quarter, and each one had a whopping $1,116,000 price tag. Yikes. So they have the Model 3, the Model Y, the Model X, and the Model S.
Revenge is a dish best served cold. You think about that.
Because they wanted it to spell out sexy. And Mr. Revenge Man, Elon Musk, you know, he bought Twitter. And now he has the revenge because now he can get all the people on that he wants that before Twitter may have been politically leaning away from to keep them from being on Twitter. So, yet he is getting a warning that the election 1 million a day lottery stunt could cost him 5 years in prison, which he did through Twitter. And let's see, the Dodgers, Yankees, two biggest cities in the United States, LA, New York. It was the priciest World Series this year.
All right.
It was $1,514 for a standing room only ticket to Game 3 at Yankee Stadium. And the average resale ticket to attend the first game at Dodger Stadium was $1,731. For a single ticket behind home plate, it cost $16,100. The World Series is already the best-selling in StubHub's 24-year history without a game being played. Before the game was even played, before even a game played in the series was played, well played, they made that much money. Okay.
Mike, you want to join in on this conversation?
What are we talking about? Let's talk about things, because it's a podcast. How about talking about Apple? Apple, they are cutting production of the Vision Pro due to slow sales. The Vision Pro VR headset cost $3,500. Apple reportedly plans to release a more budget-conscious version next year to compete with the Meta Quest 3 price tag of just $500. And I got all that from Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He is heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings, and he is heard on Cron and seen on Cron TV Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. And meanwhile, there's all this garbage talking about garbage. Let's see. So, that one comedian...
Live and loco.
This guy is truly loco. Said a lot of things. Said a particular thing about an island and garbage in Puerto Rico, referring to Puerto Rico. So not very nice at all. And then you have Biden. So all the right wingers jump on Biden because Biden said that Trump supporters are garbage. And so so they jumped on him for that. Good thing I didn't say what I was going to say. I was going to say, wow, Madison Square Garden was a little bit more like a basket. And that joke is only if you have to make the connection to, was it the thing that Hillary said, basket of deplorables, when she was talking about supporters of Trump. So it requires a little bit of brain work. So that's why my jokes don't usually work as jokes. But I'm bummed. Ridiculous random post. So it's all in how you use the word garbage, I guess. Oh, I can't wait till this is all over. You know, either way, Trump can never run for office again. He's done. He's either going to be our president and serve out his second term. Can he serve out another term because it wasn't a consecutive second term? That question will pop up somewhere. Some idiot's going to bring that up. Sorry. I'm not technically the idiot that brought it up. I'm just sort of floating it out there. That could happen. I'm just trying to predict that another idiot will really say it and, make a big headline and big stink about it. I'm just putting it here at the end of my podcast. That's all. It's something I foresee because it's going to happen in the future. Because the future, my friend, is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our days. Little Criswell there. Then the other thing, too, is as I dial the future, or maybe I'm dialing the past, is I'm trying to figure out, so he'll at some point, this will be his, let's just say this is his last term. And then he'll retire. Or will he run for something else if he lives to 100? Maybe he'll run for mayor of someplace, so I could be wrong with that statement. At any rate, look who's here. Right now. Really? She's here?
This isn't right!
Am I?
There's something wrong!
I may or may not be correct with this. So let me say hi to this person real quick. Hi, Ma. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? I brought my horse Dilly. And to Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
We have a knight
What?
who say...
Why don't y'all want us to be here right now?
Well, I'm just double checking that, you guys are supposed to be here because we had Shelley Schuhart and Floyd and John Deere last show.
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
If you get offended if I talk about garbage, don't be, that's crumbling of the cookie.
Yeah, Michael, I don't care anything about that stuff. I'm sick of all the political hoo-ha going on the TV and the radio and the podcast and anywhere I look, and I'm sick of it. So I'm just going to disconnect from it all and just go back to playing the fiddle.
What? Wow. That truly is scary.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. April Fools.
Wrong holiday, but thank you. Gave us a little bit of a fright there. Okay, look who else is here.
Hello, man. Can I make the delicious root beer hash to me now? Hey, boy.
Oh, let me try some. That's like a pumpkin root beer.
Yeah, make it like a pumpkin beer, but it's not beer. It's just root beer. Drink right now, okay?
I just drank some. It was very delicious.
Mike's Daily Podcast Master Pod Theater.
Oh, okay. And this is very fitting because the Brewmaster's dressed as William Shakespeare.
No, I'm not.
So here we go. Zounds, young man sitting there by the parapet of the castle as we overlook the ghosts that are henceforth coming. Oh, for it is the ghost of my father telling me that he was murdered by his brother, who, loves his wife and wanted him out of the way. Oh, what do you think about that, fair York? To be or not to be? Thank you. That was the worst applause ever. The performance was excellent, but the worst applause. Okay, thank you very much. Well, let's see. That's pretty much the show. I'll let you get back to counting how much candy you got or whatever, putting away all your Halloween decorations or your costumes. And what do you think about any of this? What was your costume this year? Call me. Here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Will you shut ups? Liberty Nation Freedom Foam for all. Fair and unbalanced.
And thank you for listening to our Fair and Unbalanced episode 2943. 2943. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. And now we go to the main frame and hear from A-Frame about all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.